going to find yourself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So you're off in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. Doesn't qualify as well as he races. Only
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Barani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haight deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
But I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately, isn't it? What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Oh, Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And it definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult. The understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him, kept him in third.
Yeah, Barani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pite's pushed more and forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pite going to have a go. Werrell, don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's just like trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot of fun. Yeah.
It's all about the entertainment. So I hope
everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
standing out from the crowd is a challenge. You have the passion, courage, and ambition to do something extraordinary. You have an awesome story to tell and a wonderful vision to share with the world. At Eddie Videos, we take that vision and turn it into reality so you can be heard above the rest. You need something different, and we give you the ultimate advantage. We can help you transform your ideas, images, and clips into a professional video that brings your message to life and sets a new bar for excellence. Visuals, voiceovers, editing, animations, whatever you need, we've got it all. If you're a new business looking to make your mark or an experienced company searching for something new and amazing, we're here to help. Trust us to take your video to amazing levels of awesomeness.
Good evening and welcome to the JPB Clio Cup Season 2, Round 9 from Watkins Glen, sponsored by Simstickers and SimLife. You can check them out at simstickers.co.uk and simlife.co.uk as well. Thank you so much for joining me here this evening. Hope you are all having a fabulous day today as we go into Round 9. Welcome in, Phil. Thank you so much for joining us, but we are here at Watkins Glen at the International Circuit, which means it's only 3.88 kilometers in length here, and literally, as you can see from the track map, it is around the outer loop and then coming all the way back on yourself and rejoining the track, what would be effectively turn 9, and then you'll be going left down for 10 and then the final corner there as well. So stay tuned for this one. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Let's bring you up the championship at the moment, and we've got Pete Newman out in front with the drop weeks added, 1104. Carl Ridley on 1055. Stanford Olst on 1008. Dan Mould in 4th on 970 with Sam Smith on 948. Carl Hardy 909. Carl Jacklett 907. Alan McCain 897. Lee Deemer 894. And Jono Johnson is on 891. Now, I can tell you now, any of the top 10 at the moment can mathematically win the championship. They've got to do well and probably win every single race, but they can mathematically win the championship at the moment. Now, down in 11th, you've got Roger Morton, John Bailiff, Duncan Murray, Steve Burns, Parker Still, Wayne Palmer, Martin Sampson, and then Craig Jones, Adam Dalmont, Pete Van Gaal, and then Morgan Butler in the AM Championship at the moment here as well. We are now looking at the situation of the top 5 can mathematically win the championship. Derek Carver, Danny Kazar, Mark Chappell, Charles Kellerman, and Stuart Gibbons. Those are the top 5 that can mathematically win the championship. Dan Lewis, Andy Littler, Edward Parfitt, Rob Williams, and Chris Dixon, who is down in 10th. Cannot. Sir Alan Toon in 11th, Paul Godden 12th, Ollie Ricks 13th, Mick Barry 14th, David Ayres 15th, John Higgins Sr. in 16th, Jason Haddington, and then Steve Hansford. Now in the team championship in the pros at the moment, this is what the situation does look like currently here as well. D8 iRace Esports, is out in front on 1,651 with Win It or Bin It on 1,540. Team Goldwyn on 1,527 with Team SRL on 1,425. And then we got JPB Racing on 1,314 with Pure Sims on in 6th, Optical Red 7th, Simstickers SimLife 8th, Optical Green 9th, Results Clothing 10th, Safeguard by Result, Send It or Bend It, and then Team Momo. Down in the AM Championship as well, we got Blade Designs out in front with 1,569, 3 points ahead of DHD Simsport on 1,566 with Work Guard by Result on 1,237, Spiral on 985, and Oven Blossom Racing on 680. Then you got Trippin' Pui, Higgins Motorsport, and then Air Smart Racing. Before we start, guys, I just want to give a big shout out to an announcement that went out in the Discord today. Roger Morton has stepped away from admin duties here within the JPB. He's started a new job. He's got a lot going on at the moment, but I do want to thank Roger for his contribution to JPB leagues. Okay, without Roger's idea about the Clio Cup that took place within 13 days, there would be no JPB league. So you've got to give love to really the bad father of the JPB league's idea, Mr. Roger Morton. So a big shout out to Roger as well. I hope you get back racing with us very, very shortly, young man. And thank you again for all your help and assistance that you've done over this last good few 3-4 months now as well, helping out with the BDLV, the Clios, the GT4s, everything at the moment as well. So a massive shout out to Rog, and I hope he does well in his new job and gets everything sorted out there as well. So a big shout out to him. Now I am going to bring in at this moment in time Callum Mileham, who will be joining me this evening. Welcome in, Callum. Hope you are well.
Yeah, I'm more than well. I'm really looking forward to tonight. So I'm in a pretty good mood to see these Clios go around probably one of my most favourite tracks. I've done it quite a lot in the last sort of few months. Obviously, we had the recent charity event there. So I've done a lot of laps around here on various different vehicles. But really looking forward to this layout because it's not one that I've actually raced before. I've not done this exact layout of Watkins Glen, but these Clios I think are going to be fantastic around here. Maybe a little less carnage to what we saw last round out, but should entail for some great racing.
Yeah, definitely should there as well. We were obviously at Knockhill, reverse, 3 races, of course. Pete Newman took the victory in the Bros twice, with John Bailiff finishing in the lead in race 2. And then it was Crowther, Kazar and Chappell in the AMs across the 3 races at Knockhill. As you say, it was a little bit more manic, Knockhill. I think it's manic anyway going forward, Callum, but we decided to put these drivers going backwards. And it was a little bit more of a catastrophe than normal, wasn't it, to be honest? But I suppose nobody did a John Brown. Oh, welcome in, John. Hope you are well. So, you know, it was all very much compact at Knockhill in reverse, and it didn't leave a lot of room. But hopefully here in Watkins, these, you know, they've got a lot more room. They should be able to contend quite happily, and they should be able to be side by side. I watched in practice, Adam Dalmont and Pete Newman went side by side for about 4 laps around the whole circuit. It was absolutely incredible driving, and I'm expecting them guys to be doing really well as well. These Clios are going to be screaming around here. Yeah, now I have been told actually by Edward, who's racing tonight, that literally they are redlining going up the straight. He said literally they are redlining and there's 5th gear and that's about it. And unfortunately for the Clios, they are literally screaming out in pain as they're going up through the straight. So a lot to take in here from these guys as well. Something they got to consider, I'm sure, when they were getting all their setups and everything else together. I'm sure they've had a look and seen if they can extend it or whatever the situation may be within the gearing. But it's going to be tough for them tonight here, Callum, because Watkins is a fast-flowing circuit. And for these little Clios, as I say, if they are going to be screaming going up that back straight, there's going to be a lot for them to try and deal with.
Oh, yeah, for sure. There certainly is. And, well, there's going to be a lot of fun in terms of the slipstream between these cars as well. I'm sure we'll see quite a few long chains. And watching these guys stick their nose up the inside or possibly try and take a bit more momentum through some corners to go around the outside of each other, it's going to be really entertaining because I think we are going to see a couple of 3 wides around this track. Obviously, like you say, they do have a lot more space, so we're more likely to see some 2-3 wide battling tonight. And well, I'm just all over looking forward to it because there's not many places for any major error unless it's on this braking zone at the end of this straight. If you slightly miss that, I could see maybe a little collision there, but apart from that, can't really see many places where it gets too tight.
Yeah, it doesn't really. It's quite a fast-flowing circuit. They're going around in 120s. 937s, Delmont 129.77 for Newman, and then we've literally got a second gap all the way down to 20th with Alan McCain on a 121.985. So they are incredibly close here this evening. You've just seen Pete Newman go up the back straight. He topped out at literally about 125, and then after that there was no more left in the car. It was 125 Callum screaming the hell out of it, and that was it. There was nothing else to it.
No, you need like an extra little NOS tank in there or something to get that thing down the straight without revving the wheels off of that, shall we say. Trying to think of the PG word for that. But yeah, revving the wheels off that vehicle as he's going down the straight there. And I think yeah, like you say, we're going to see a lot of that. And it's all going to come down to the slipstream of the draft and exit speed through some of these corners as the main part of overtaking on this track. Because obviously, if they're all topping out down the straights, there's not going to be much movement there, I wouldn't have thought.
No, definitely not. You are going to send these Clios into the red. We have just gone into qualifying, so 10 minutes of qualifying these guys have got currently at the moment. So let's see what they're able to do here as well. As I say, so looking at average times around about 120, 121 seems to be a good average for everybody to be in here. I think from that point of view, with the cars that we've got on track, there's like 25 drivers still out on track at the moment, as we've only got this one and one more to go. We end the season next week at Brands Hatch Indy. That, of course, was picked by this season's current overall champion, or last season's current overall champion, which of course was Pete Newman. So he picked Brands Hatch Indy there as well, and an absolutely stellar pick it was. These guys are gonna, well, they're either gonna love it or they hate it, but it's gonna go off without, you know, some carnage, I'm sure, because it's Brands Hatch and it's the Indy circuit, and it's, yeah, it's going to be even more interesting. Now we have got a provisional calendar together for next season. Now there was discussions about it earlier on within in the Discord itself, so it was quite big news, to be honest. And what we are looking at doing is combining the GT4 and the Clio racetracks for the week. So the GT4s would run the full circuit, the Clios will run a smaller version of the circuit. Now, we've got some great tracks in here, I'm not gonna lie. There are some great tracks, some tracks that you've never probably seen raced around a short circuit before, but they are all fairly big in length, okay? There isn't really any major tight ones like we had earlier, you know, at Monza Junior, for instance. But it will be 10 races long. The formats in the Clios will stay the same. There will still be 3 races. The only thing that's slightly possibly going to change will be the reverse grids. We are discussing the second reverse grid, on whether or not we're going to bring it down to 15, because I know it's caused a little bit of drama being out of 20. Now the GT4 formats, we are looking at that as well, whether or not there will be a reverse grid for the feature after the sprint, or we leave it as it is and we don't touch it. Now some of the tracks are going to be exciting as well here, Callum. I think next season could be absolutely epic.
Yeah, it certainly could, and there's going to be a lot of key action in there on some of those tracks as well. And I think it'll be nice for anyone that is interested in either GT4 or the Clio, or even both, because obviously them being the same track but maybe a slightly different layout, it might benefit some of these drivers, you know. So I think that's quite a good little idea, to be fair, to have both leagues running the same track on the same week. So I think it'll be really good to see, actually, and I think, like I say, it'll benefit a few people out there.
Yeah, exactly, will do. We had toyed with the idea of bringing them on the same night and doing like a race night with the Clios and the GT4s. We're just not sure that the sessions would be able to handle it and in the same session at the same time. So we're toying on looking into that idea, but we're not too sure, unless we do a separate session for the GT4s compared to the Clios, rather than getting them all on circuit at the same time, because obviously that means you've got to try and change tracks in the middle, and that's just going to be impossible. So we have looked, possibly had a chat, but I don't know if that's going to be happening. So at the moment, Clios will still remain on the Monday, GT4s on a Wednesday, and also the new TCR League kicks off this Friday. There are still sign-up places available. There are not many, mind you, but there are places available. If you want to get yourself involved, go down onto the JPB League's Discord, sign in, and get some 6-round epic action of TCRs at some of the British tracks. Well, actually, all of the British tracks within iRacing. So get yourselves involved in that one. And then the following, we're going to be announcing when the sign-ups will be opening up for the new Clios and GT4s. We are looking at running the Clios, the GT4s, and possibly the TCRs at the same time, but we will see how the crossover works on that one. But get yourselves involved down into the Discord and get yourselves involved in some epic race action here. Currently at the moment, though, Callum, we've got Sam Van Hulst sitting on pole on a 1:21.023. This man is absolutely flying.
Yeah, he certainly is. And, well, hopefully he can keep this pace up, not only in this qualifying session, but over the next couple of laps, but also in the race as well, because it's going to be key to actually get a good start off the grid here tonight. And, well, you haven't got much of a distance until turn 1, and, well, I think we could see some dives on the inside. So, you know, if you're in the top 2 positions, you really do need to be getting a great start to try and pull away from the grid, because like I said, you know, slipstream on here is going to be vital, and that's really going to keep some cars in battles that they wouldn't normally be in. So I think it's going to be very close, but it is critical on starting position. I know we've mentioned it a couple of times before in previous rounds, but this, I feel tonight, this is probably the round where it's the most critical out of all of them.
Yeah.
So these guys really do need to get their foot down and get going.
Oh, fully agree. Adam Dalmont sitting in second with Renault still out in front on a 1:21.023. Dalmont and Newman are closing. Sam Smith's currently sitting in 4th with Carl Hardwood. Ooh, it's Neil Ridley has gone into 5th now. Stuart Gibbons is down in 16th, and then we've got the likes of Sir Alan Toon down in 21st with Wayne Palmer and Paul Godden from the Simstickers Sim Life Boys. Obviously our sponsor here for this season, so please go and check them out. We've still got Mini-Me on track. He's been doing a great job. He absolutely despised Knockhill last week. I can't repeat what he told me or what he said, but let's just say he didn't enjoy himself. To be honest, Callum, I think he was in a list of drivers who probably didn't.
No, I think there are some people out there that didn't really enjoy themselves, but that's something not to really focus on tonight. Because to be fair, I know I'm only sitting in the booth and not behind the wheel of one of these vehicles, but I think this combination is actually going to be fantastic, and I think it will spell for some great racing. So hopefully, after we had some mixed reviews, should we say, for the track from last round out, I think it'll be thumbs up all around, and that'll be the top of Steam Marketplace at this rate, because we're going to be treated to some great racing, a lot of side-by-side action, no matter where you are on the grid.
I love it, as it says we were greeted with mixed reviews. I won't tell you some of the DMs I woke up to, but yeah, they weren't always good about Knockhill Reverse, let's just say. Oh, no, that one, there was a good few drivers who did not enjoy themselves. But, however, Watkins Glen will give them something different, won't it? We've come off some quite little nippy circuits, you know, Knockhill. Then obviously Twin Ring East as well, and then we come to Watkins, a wider circuit, lot to play with, lots of space, lots of side-by-sides. They've got it all here, so if they can't master the Watkins, I can't be responsible for that one, surely.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. I mean, you can see just in the background here, behind Newman's car, you actually had those three. We're going 3 wide out of the exit there. So, you know, that already, like you saw in practice, we had a couple of cars going side by side for a few laps. So the main thing is we're being shown early signs already that we're going to be treated to tonight with some great battling. You know, cars going side by side all through qualifying practice. Like I say, no matter where they are, no matter who they are, they all seem to be just going for it and doing it. And what a fantastic job they're doing so far. One thing, obviously, I will point out, times are very close, but Mr. Deck Crowther is, well, currently on your screen, and he's currently in P7 as well, so he's had a very good run out in qualifying, followed by Danny Cassar in the AMS in P12 overall, so the battle between those two is going to be tight, because there's nothing but 25 points splitting the two there, so that's going to be very interesting tonight, because it's getting down to squeaky bum time in the season, so these guys do need to try and get all the results to go their way.
Yeah, definitely, and with the fact, excuse me, with the fact that the top 10 can still win the championship in the pros, it's going to be tough for all of them, but they are still able to, and that would involve Jono Johnson, but he's got to go and win every single race. In the AMS, obviously, Crowther, 25 points back down to Danny Kazar, so Kazar's got to try and get in front of Crowther if he can. We're coming into the last 35 seconds, of qualifying here before we go into race 1. So it's definitely going to be a tough one for these drivers. It's going to be an exciting one. Let's hope we don't see a car park going up through the S's that we have seen in many different leagues. I'm not going to lie, there's been quite a few going up through and causing a car park up through the S's. So let's hope we don't see that here tonight, Callum.
Yeah, hopefully not. I don't know if it's just me or not, but what I'm seeing right now is this car going on 3 wheels of Danny Cassar. The front right wheel was all kind of locked up in from what I was seeing there, and all scraping along the ground. So that was very interesting. He kept that going for quite a while.
I'm not too sure where that was from. But here is the grid for round 9. Sam Van Olst in first, Pete Newman second, Adam Dalmont third, Sam Smith fourth, Carl Ridley fifth, Carl Hardy sixth, and then we've got the arm of Derek Crowther in seventh. Carl Jacklett 8th, Craig Jones 9th, John Bailiff 10th, Lee Deemer 11th, Danny Cassar 12th, Wayne Palmer 13th, David Ayres 14th, Alan McCain 15th, Stuart Gibbons, Charles Kellerman and Michael Seal. And then beyond that, we've got Paul Godden, Andy Littler, Edward Parfitt, Sir Alan Toon, Mark Chappell, Mick Barry and Ollie Ricks. So it's all going to be very, 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 very interesting here. I'm really excited looking towards how this one is going to pan out, and hopefully it should go rather well. So let's see how it's going to work here and who's going to win. Who do you think is going to come out on top for race 1?
Oh, throwing a curveball out there, I'm going to go for Carl Hardy. Normally we always go for like top 1 or 2 and things like that, but I don't know, I feel like Slipstream is going to be strong, so I feel like it needs to be someone a bit further back.
Yeah, I think, okay, so Carl Hardy, I'll tell you what I think. I think Carl Ridley is going to get this. So, yeah, I think Carl Ridley. That's what I'm expecting.
Oh, if we go by just our votes, it's Australia versus the UK.
Yes. Just waiting for Sam Smith and Alan McCain to get on to the grid. There is Sam Van Olst sitting on pole at the moment. What is he going to be able to do as he's in that car? Not entirely sure if he is moving or whether or not it's just his animation of his head. Go deck, says Barnsey. Right, here we go. Lights are going to be coming on. 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And we are green, green, green. Newman got a good start over on Van Olst there as well, as he's looking at coming round the outside of Van Olst down into turn 1. We lost Sam Smith. Smith did not make it. Van Olst manages to hold on there, but is really under pressure. You can see them all streaming down in through turn 1 now. Through turn 2 they go. There's going to be some side-by-side free-wide action. I don't ever doubt that. Coming up through this section now, and it's going to be back in the mid-pack as Wayne Palmer, Alan McCain, David Ayres all battling it out. We'll keep an eye on the leaders as we've now got this long run that goes all the way up into the outer loop here, and it is still Sam Van Olst on the defensive at the moment from Pete Newman. Currently here as well with Adam Dalmont and Carl Ridley. Here is that draft we were talking about, Callum. Everybody made it through though. Great start from all of these guys.
Yeah, fantastic start. Not many incidents at all, which is always a good thing. So great to see that these guys are really giving it a good old shot here already. But, well, 2 tenths splitting the top 2 at the minute, and you got P2 and P3 battling out at the minute. Newman and Delmont swapping positions several times, really, down 1 single straight, but that's lost them time to the lead, and that's gone up to 6 tenths now. So if Sam Van Olst can just keep the pace up and get that rhythm going, this could be a fairly solid race for Mr. Van Olst.
Oh, look in the background, Lee Deemer there as well with Danny Cassar and Craig Jones battling it out. They were 3 wide at one point. Carl Hardy's looking up the inside currently at the moment. Is he going to be able to make his way through past Carl Ridley? The commentators' picks are battling it out side by side. Van Olst is going up through that S section, still out in front with Delmont, with Newman, with Hardy, with Ridley, with Jacklett and Crowther battling in there as well. It's all getting very, very close here as we're going to come to the end of lap 2. 2 minutes gone, 18 minutes remaining, and a stellar job from all of these drivers. There's been no major incidents currently at the moment. I can see that Charles Kellerman and Mick Barry and Sam Smith are into the pits, but they all drove into the pits on their own. They were not having an incident. They all drove in on their own. Delmont's trying to make the outside move round past Van Olst. Van Olst just opens up the steering here, Callum, and this is going to be a great battle as we go in with 17 minutes remaining.
Yeah, things certainly are going to get very tight now between these guys as they come around here to round off the second lap. And, well, the lead is still there for Van Alst at the minute, but it has closed down drastically. Delmont and Newman are slowly catching. Well, more just on Delmont's shoulders at the minute. But Newman isn't far away. Obviously, they're still in that slipstream. And here we go. This could be the move. Is he going to look up the inside? Delmont, no. He just sits in behind. Bit of a lock up there on the inside right as he goes very wide out of the exit of turn 1 up into the S's. You've got a couple of cars coming onto the track out of the pit lane now. And you can see who's been the biggest gainer there. And that will be Mr. Alan McCain. And shared with Ollie Ricks, I believe. Oh, no, sorry, Mark Chappell and Ollie Ricks. There you go. They're up 6 positions each, followed by Alan McCain there on 5 as well. So not too bad from these guys so far. Delmont's up 1 position, but he's going to go side by side at the minute with Van Alst. Battle for the lead. This is where the bus stop would normally be. That they're going to continue on down into the quick and long right-hander as Adam Delmont takes the outside line. Can he hold it against Van Alst? Can he get extra momentum coming out of that turn, having the wider line? He's got the advantage now leading into the next corner. He has that inside line. He just needs to keep that nose up the inside. They're going to do so. They're still going to be side by side. Blue marker just ahead as well. So that's something to take into account. Delmont gains the lead, though, of the race, and Van Alst has fallen down to second, but he's going to put the attack straight back on. Can he go up the inside on the straight? Can he get the run? The bumper-to-bumper now coming out of the final corner down the straight, and as it stands, Delmont is your leader of the race.
It still is battling away with Sam Van Alst. We've got Sam Smith in front of us. But Smith missed the start of the race, and unfortunately for him, it looks like he's come out in the pack right in the front of the leaders. I'm expecting a big old move out the way from Smith. I'm sure he knows how to deal with blue flags. We've got Craig Jones running off the side of the circuit in the background. Ollie Ricks, Mick Barry have also been up here, but here are your leaders. 4 cars battling it out with Ridley, with Jacqueline not too far off them as well. Crowther is up there in front of the AMs. He's at the back of this pack, but here they all come now. It's going to be Smith is going to be there as well. So Sam Smith has got to decide what he's going to do, and whether or not he's going to do it now or whether or not he's going to do it after the corner. Whatever he's going to do, he pulls out the way there. Smith with a big puff of smoke trying to get out the way, and Delmont, Van Alst, Newman and Hardy running nose to tail, first to fourth here, and doing an absolutely incredible job. Craig Jones has got Alan McCain and Danny Kazar, David Ayres and Lee Dima, and then we've got a bit of a gap, and then we've got a massive train from Dima all the way down to Michael Seal. So there's gaps, bunches appearing here as Van Alst is looking up the inside here. Callum, he's trying to get through on the final corner, and now he's got that run down that start-finish straight, and he is on the inside.
He is, and well, these guys are going to go all the way to the wire, I imagine, with this kind of battling. So side by side once again, going into turn 1. Adam Delmont has the outside line, still in P1 as it stands. He's got his nose just ahead, but not by much, not even a tenth between the 2 cars at the minute. Still going to have the inside line is Sam Van Alst, and he's going to continue up the inside, I'm sure, as much as he can, because he'll have the advantage for the majority of the lap if he can just maintain his position as it stands. And, well, as you can see, not much at all between them, because Van Alst has just taken the lead of the race. His bonnet is now just ahead. You can see these cars all going side by side at the minute. You've got Ridley as well going side by side with Hardy there. And well, this is going to get really tight now. Quick right-hander. There's 2-3 groups of side by side here. And Adam Delmont, again, going to have the outside line. He's done it once before. Can he do it again on Sam Van Alst? But Van Alst seems to have that momentum and that pace this time round. And he gets his bonnet just ahead. And the battle for P3 is just as close as well. Ridley and Newman, they're also fighting it out. But it looks like Newman has pulled away slightly. Delmont now got the inside line on Van Alst, and he's managed to keep his car well ahead, and this is the biggest gap we've seen all race between these two. 2 tenths, it's just the other way around. Instead of Van Alst being 2 tenths ahead, it's now Delmont. So fantastic battling from these guys, but give it another lap or 2 and I think this will all close up again.
Yeah, definitely here as well. And then we've got Danny Kazar's group of Alan McCain all fighting it out. There's Alan McCain, David Ayres, Craig Jones, Lee Dima, Wayne Palmer, Paul Goddard, Mark Chappell is the last in this list of racers here battling for this 9th place. Second currently as well. Crowther's at the back. He's got about 3.5 seconds up front at the moment. I think these guys are being saved by the draft here as well, and I think Van Olst is being saved by the draft with Delmont, Newman and Hardy. Here they come, sitting in that third place is Newman. Is he going to send it free wide down into the outer loop? You can see him swapping positions in the background on that group as well. Let's see what happens. Van Olst is going to run up the inside round the outer loop now. He's keeping Adam Delmont honest. He can just open up the steering a little bit here, Callum, and make Delmont run a little bit wide, because Delmont's done this 3 laps in a row now. Van Olst has got to put in that big brave man effort and run that outside line round turn 9. Surely he can't keep letting Delmont do the same thing.
Well, surely not, because Delmont has proved lap after lap that he can, with these lines that he has taken, whether they're on the outside or inside, he's proven that he can keep his nose in front where he needs to. And as you can see here, they're going to come across the line once again. Delmont, once again, 1/10 ahead of Van Olst. So Van Olst really does need to put some stops out there to this pace-making of Delmont's Clio there. But this is, for some reason, I just had a thought, this is reminding me a bit like a Clio NASCAR. This is what this feels like, where it's all close together. And it's just a bit like a big loop. It's just a couple of slightly different turns, shall we say, to change the shape up a bit. But it does feel a bit like a NASCAR race for the Clios, though, because it's all so close together. It reminds me of the NASCAR races. So great stuff that we're seeing so far, though. A bit of bump drafting down the back straight for Newman, then on Delmont. And, well, Van Olst does have the inside, and there's a bit too much bumper to bumper there, because it looks like, not too sure who that was. I think it was possibly Carl Hardy.
Yeah.
He's had to back off there from getting a bit squirrely from going bumper to bumper, but he's going to get back on the attack for P4. And, well, the leaders are going side by side once again through the same turn, and once again, they're in the same positions. Delmont has the inside line leading into the penultimate turn. Van Olst has the outside, but then we'll have the inside leading into the final turn. So what will happen here? Will Delmont be able to keep that momentum and keep that track position in P1? 1/10 split him last time, door to door, no paint exchange there, and well, fantastic racing from these guys. And once again, 1/10 in front is Mr. Delmont.
Yeah, it's all literally about 7/10 between first and 8th here. You can see them all on the track at the same time. Mark Chappell has unfortunately had a bit of a moment. Danny Kazar has also got his own group of drivers behind that as well. Jacklett has just cleared Kazar, I believe. And there is Carl Jacklett with Danny Kazar behind him. Sorry, so he's just had a battle with Crowther for a brief period of time. But there he's kicking off here. Chappell's into the pits after, unfortunately for Mark Chappell, here doing this. So what did Chappell do as he goes into the last corner? That looked a bit bizarre. Oh, he just slid the back end, and unfortunately into the wall he goes. But from Van Olst and Delmont, it's the other way round now. Van Olst is on the inside. Is Delmont going to try and run him round? Newman doesn't know where to go at the moment. Ridley doesn't know where to go either. And we've got Hardy and Bailiff in there with Crowther. So it's all getting very, very close. These front 5 are slowly opening up the gap to John Bailiff. Bailiff is managing to hang on here, but only just. Crowther's dropping back a little bit with Carl Jacklett behind him, but these guys are still battling out. You've still got first to 8th. Then you've got 9th all the way down to 15th behind that. And then you've got a gap to Littler, Sill and Parfitt and Toon and Ricks and Kellerman and Chappell. So it's all very, very close here, Callum, considering we're coming into what is technically still the last 9 minutes of the race.
Yeah, I mean, time has flown by, and to be fair, this is probably some of the best racing I've seen all season. I know they've got a larger track, but it's just fantastic watching how many times positions are changing, and it's just it's heaven if you're a racing fanatic and you're a great lover of the Renault Clio or racing in general, because this is a great showing so far, as we could potentially see a 3 wide here. Both the front 2 cars are going to go on the defensive of Van Olst and Delmont. Delmont does have the inside line in the outer loop here. Van Olst is having to go the long way round. Looks to be slowing up a bit of pace. That's possibly going to bring Newman into it. He's now corner to corner. Can he try and get his nose around the outside and copy what Delmont's done the last couple of laps? Because Delmont is going to be on the slight defensive there, and Newman's been cut off by the looks of things by Van Olst, but Van Olst is going to try and send it around the outside on the penultimate corner. Coming into the final turn now, leading on to the home straight, and well, advantage Van Olst because he's got the inside line, but then tight as anything. You couldn't fit even a bicycle through that gap as these guys come across. Not even a 10th split in the two now. So things are starting to get a bit closer now that Van Alst has Delmont's favoured line, I shall say.
Yeah, definitely. Van Alst on the inside there, Callum. I think one of the things that's interesting is the leaning that they did have. They've slowly dropped off Carl Jacklett, Ridley and Crowther and Hardy. Now Ridley and Hardy, I believe, may have had a moment here where there was contact and Hardy and Ridley did end up going off and unfortunately lost some positions there as Ridley does come onto the track right in front of Jacklett. So unfortunately he has lost a bit of time. Chapel, you are now under attack from the people behind you. Van Alst there as well. They're going to try 3 wide round the outer loop. It's not going to work. What about Van Alst and Delmont? They're going to be running side by side. What's Chapel going to do here? Wherever he's going to go, he's got to make that move out the way, I would have thought. He's trying to run him out of this thing. He's being flashed frantically here for Mark Chapel, and he needs to kind of clear that car because the leaders are coming. He's run straight on. Great job from Chapel there. Waited till he could possibly get out of the way, Callum, and then did manage to get out of the way. Van Alsten and Delmont swapping paints once more here. There's going to be a lot of paint between these guys here as well, so it's very, very tight.
It certainly is, and I'm shaking my head because I'm in utter disbelief that these guys are still going around side by side on lap 11. I don't know if there was much on lap 1, but at least from lap 2 to lap 11, I feel like I've had side by side action the entire time, and Van Alst and Delmont just don't want to let this win go. They both want it as much as each other, so it's purely going to come down to who has the advantage on the last couple of laps, because there's only a 10th split in the two cars. So it really will come down to the wire in terms of who gets the win here in this session in the first race of the evening. But David Ayres at the minute is leading this pack, and Danny Cassar's all over that rear bumper, swinging to side like he's swinging around in the trees in the jungle. But he's going to go to the outside line as he tries to gain a little extra momentum, taking a slightly wider line. He's not going to quite have it. They're going to end up corner to corner. He's going to have to slot in that gap by the looks of things, and possibly he'll be under attack from Dima just behind as well. So that's one thing to look out for, because Dima's going to have the outside line, and well, Cassar has to do a bit of defending now and try and set his car up perfectly to fend off those behind, and he's done so very nicely, as some of the cars do go quite wide on that second to last turn. I'm guessing there's no off tracks there, James.
No, I think that it's the variation, isn't it? Certain places they've managed to do off tracks. Oh, there's on the straight. Paul Godden and Craig Jones. A gentleman. Oh, God. Oh, Godden and Jones. They was started with Palmer was in there as well. Palmer went into the pit lane, sent Palmer in, and then unfortunately for Craig Jones, takes out both Simstickers Sim Life drivers within one foul swoop there. So unfortunately for Craig Jones, not an ideal scenario. We'll try and have a look back on board with Godden and see if there was nose up or up in where Craig Jones was. But at the moment, Van Alst is now battling away with Delmont. 4 minutes coming to the end here, Callum, as well. And it basically is now going to come down to this group of drivers. It's going to be this group of drivers, final lap, who's going to be able to take the draft.
Yeah, it's going to come down to who has that preferred line, and at the minute it is advantage Delmont, I believe, because he is back on that line that he was fairly dominant in. I mean, when I say dominant, you know, he wasn't a couple of seconds up the road, he was a 10th up the road every single lap, and that was just sheer general line dominance, I think, just maintaining that line and making sure Van Alst can't get it, because once Van Alst got that line, he was then able to do some damage as well. But there's not much split in the two at the minute. You can see, there's contact between the two. I think that's the first contact we've had all session between these two, but there is contact there, and the cars are still side by side though, so that contact isn't really going to slow those down. In fact, no, sorry, Delmont's backed off, and it's now Pete Newman that's taken the lead, and Van Alst and Pete Newman were side by side just a moment ago, but Newman has come through to take the lead of the race, and that sends Bailiff up into P3 as well. And unfortunately Delmont has moved down to P5. He's side by side battling out down there at the moment as well, so he's got to try and get back into the race contention for the lead. And I mean, he still is. He's part of the pack, but he's not as high up as he was a lap ago. Now let's see if Newman and Van Alst can be the new duo to carry on this side-by-side action. They're not as close as what Delmont was on that outer loop, but they are still side-by-side as they go into the penultimate corner. Advantage goes to Van Alst with the inside line here. Can he set his car up nicely? He does. Newman slots in just behind, which probably is a little bit of an interesting move, seeing as the cars have held side-by-side for the majority of the laps. Newman decides to slot in instead. That could just be a tactical decision that he's happy for second and might just want to settle in or try and gain a slipstream down the home straight.
Yeah, Van Alst with Newman, with Bailiff, with Jacklett, with Delmont, with Ridley and Hardy and Crowther. Oh, they're on the straight again. Oh no, Ridley. Oh, there was contact with Ridley there. Was that Ridley and... No, it was Hardy and Ridley. I made contact. And unfortunately for Ridley, there was just nowhere for him to go apart from the grass. And that sent Jacklett into the pits there. Unfortunately, the original contact started with Hardy. And that was it. Newman and Van Alst have swapped positions once more here as they're coming down the outer loop. That now puts John Bailiff in third place here as well. So John Bailiff in third, and a stellar job from him at the moment here, Callum, as well, as they're running round that outer loop now. And they are going to be on the final lap of the race. This time around, we will see Barney waving, and we've still got Van Alst, Newman and Bailiff here.
Yeah, this pack is still close together. It's not as big as what it once was, but they the top three are still all in a tight contention for the race lead. And as you say, it'll come around to the white flag lap. There's not much split in the three. There is the wonderful Barney, as always, out doing a lovely display with his flag there. So fantastic work from Barney himself. You know, it wouldn't be the same without him, but certainly one thing that Van Alst will be focusing on is trying to keep this lead, though, and try and maintain that momentum going through this lap. But Pete Newman isn't slow. He's been able to keep up to Van Alst and Delmont when they were fighting for the lead. And while he hasn't really left their bumpers since, unfortunately, you know, we have had Delmont move down a couple of positions, but Pete Newman has always been there lurking, so he does have the speed. Can he get the advantage now in the last few corners of the lap?
Well, here we go. They're running side by side. Newman's going to go around the outside of the outer loop. Bailiff's going to try and get in there as well. What I would do as Bailiff is sit as close as I can to Van Alst and make the most of that Van Alst draft as much as possible. But they're running side by side. Van Alst did not cover off that inside round the outer loop. They're coming into the last penultimate, no, second to last corner here. And it is Newman with Van Alst. Van Alst backs out of that outside line. Is he going to try and run him down onto the start-finish straight as well? It's going to be a photo finish here with Bailiff involved as well once more. It's Van Alst, it's Bailiff, it's Newman. Who's going to get it over the line? I think it is going to be Van Alst. Oh! Van Alst, Bailiff there. Then further back, you got Adam Delmont. Then you got Crowther. Oh! Man! How close was that? 8 thousandths of a second. Incredibly close there, Callum.
That certainly was. And I've just seen the replay on my second monitor here. And yeah, what a finish we just had there. And tight racing all throughout the race, just non-stop. It was fantastic to see. And, well, a great race from Van Alst, but also a great race for the AM of Dec Crowther as well. He managed to tag onto the back of that pack full of pros at the start and managed to pick off one or two as well and find his way up to P7 overall, which is a fantastic position to be in as an AM, but also winning your championship battle as well. That's always good news for him as well, because he was fighting against Danny Cassar really, and who was the other one? Mark Chappell was the other one. So he's really gained some points on those guys there, so able to keep the advantage up. So it'll be good to see what these guys could do in the next race, though, and with the reverse grid tonight, that'll really put lighten up the night, I think, with watching some of these guys with their pace come through. And well, are they going to be able to capitalise on it? Is the slipstream going to be too powerful?
Well, here is the grid for race 2, the results for race 1. Sam Van Olst in first, John Bailiff, Pete Newman second and third. Then you've got Adam Delmont, Carl Ridley, Alan McCain, Derek Crowther, David Ayres, Carl Hardy and Danny Kazar, your top 10. Andy Littler, Michael Seal, Edward Parfitt, Sir Alan Toon, Paul Godden, Ollie Ricks, Charles Kellerman, and then Carl Jacklett. Then on from that, you've got Mark Chappell, Stuart Gibbons, Wayne Palmer, Lee Deemer, Craig Jones, Sam Smith, and Mick Barry there at the end of that one. Now, for the grid for race 2, this is what it will look like. Danny Kazar will be on pole with Carl Hardy in second. David Ayres third, Derek Crowther fourth. Alan McCain, Carl Ridley, Adam Delmont, Pete Newman, John Bailiff and Sam Van Olst will be your top 10. Then you've got Andy Littler, Michael Seal, Edward Parfitt, Sir Alan Toon, Paul Godden, Ollie Ricks, Charles Kellerman and Carl Jacklett. Then on from that, you've got Mark Chappell, Stuart Gibbons, Wayne Palmer, Lee Deemer, Craig Jones, Sam Smith and Mick Barry. So we have got a brief little moment here as well. They will have 5 minutes to grid up. So we'll see these guys and see how they're going to get on here as well. It's an absolutely stellar job from all of these guys as well out on track. That first one was quite epic, to be fair. I've got to be honest.
Yeah, great results in the end for a lot of drivers out there, but fantastic stuff. And, well, we weren't wrong when we said we're going to be treating some good racing tonight. We normally say that every week, and to be fair, we normally are, but this week is this is special. This combination, I think, is brilliant. It's given a chance for some proper racing, and it's just unfortunate that some of these drivers couldn't make it tonight because, well, just imagine this with everyone involved on it as well. That'd be absolutely amazing. But what we've got out there is just perfect at the moment as well. So fantastic racing for all those that have made it tonight. And, well, I'm looking forward to seeing what can happen in the next 2 heats.
Well, I think it's going to be interesting anyway. Some of the moves that's going on at the moment here within the championship, obviously Newman, Ridley and that as well. I'm sure Delmont would have been up there if he obviously started at the beginning of the season. So I'm sure Delmont would have been up there as well. But, you know, I think overall it's been a cracking beginning to this. And I think it's... If that is what race 1's going to be like, race 2 and 3 are going to be absolutely amazing. So it's going to be very, very interesting here as well. The guys are slowly starting to come onto the grid. We've got about 2 minutes remaining. We do give them a little bit of a 5-minute countdown to make sure they're going to the toilet and, you know, hydrating. Nothing more, completely hydrating on that one. Completely on me. Sorry, Simstickers, says Craig Jones. Well, you did take out both of them. So if you're going to do it, you might as well do it right at the beginning and take out both of the same team in one go, Craig. So good job to you. Overtake off the track, no, says Liam. Yeah, that's down for the drivers on that one, mate. We don't have stewarding just yet in here, so they will know, obviously, if they've overtaken off track. And let's be real, it happens in every single league. So there we go. Barnsley with us 2 more like that deck. Absolutely. And then nice results for Alan Toon. It was as well. Alan is now in 14th for this grid as well here, Callum. I think if race 2 and 3 are going to go like that, that's good. They're going to be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it certainly is, and great form of entertainment as well. Just what you want, starting off your week on a Monday night. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be tense. Let's be honest, it's going to be tight, and like I say, I'm just interested to see what these guys can do in terms of defending with reverse grid and play and everything as well. So, yeah, that's just I can't quite put. Normally, I can say, oh yeah, maybe defend for a couple of laps, but they might be able to take it the whole way if they've got the pace up there and they're slipstreaming off each other and working together like we just saw for the entirety of race 1. Then could be in for a surprise win maybe tonight.
Well, neither you or me did very well in race 1, sir. We didn't win. So where are you going in race 2?
Ooh, I think I'm going to back Crowther.
Oh.
He had good pace in race 1, and he's P4 at the minute, so I think we've got to back Crowther. Also, if I don't, he's going to hit me, so...
I'm sure he ain't going to hit you.
Nah, you'll be surprised. He's a bit of a bully behind the screen.
Do you know what? I'm going to fancy Hardy. I'm not going to lie.
You fancy Hardy? Do you want me to let him know?
Yeah. Tell him. It's hot. It's fine. Yeah, I'm going to go with Cole Hardy and see how he gets on. I've got all the money on Hardy here, but race 2 is going to be up and running. 4 lights, 5 lights, quick lights. We're up and running there. I don't think anybody was expecting that quick change, especially not Danny Kazar with Carl Hardy, David Ayres and Derek Crowther here as well. Top 10 reverse, don't forget. Hardy slots into second in front of Kazar at the moment. They're going to be running side by side up through the S's. It looks like there's been a little bit of a drama at the back end. Everybody looked like they've just managed to check up there as well. And once more, everybody, and I will say everyone, because there's no straddlers in the background. There was a little bit of a straddler. Ridley left the pit lane, so unfortunately it was Carl Ridley. But everybody has made it up the hill and through the S's. Hardy's now taking that lead with Kazar, Ayres, McCain and Crowther. Newman's in there as well. You can see that line of Clios. Look at that. Absolute incredible sight as they're all rushing down into the outer loop here. I do get very excited. Oh, there's a bit of door rubbing there with Parfitt, and I've got a funny feeling. Who was that? That was one of the Blade Designs of 57. That was Michael Seal. I think it's Michael Seal in the Blade Designs livery there. It does look like he's got a Blade Design. No, it's not Blade, but it was Michael Seal. There was slight little bit of contact with as well there, Callum. But everybody at the moment, a stellar start from all of them.
Yeah, fantastic work indeed. And some cars going heavily wide there on the penultimate turn. A bit of sideways action going on there. That's Mini Parfitt going a bit Tokyo Drift.
I don't know if it was Mini Parfitt's fault. Can we have a look at what Mick Barry was up to there? He didn't even turn the corner. So I'm not entirely sure that it was Mini Me's fault on that one. I've got to be honest. Did look like Barry was going straight there, sir.
That did indeed. I was just saying he's going for a bit of a drift.
Yeah, he is.
Taking a bit of Tokyo Drift to Watkins Glen, which I'm not opposed to. I like that combination, to be fair. A bit of drifting around here. That will go down a lovely treat. But well, what a start Mr. Hardy has had, though. He's got himself all the way up into the lead of the race. Fantastic work from him. And it seems like I curse everyone that I pick for the race win, because Crowther's made his way to P9. So I'm going to stop picking the people I think are going to win and go for others, because it seems like I've got just a built-in curse every time I enter the booth.
I'm sure that's not the case, Callum, as we can see Hardy and Kazar pushing away through. You can see the 3 wide further back. I think that's the led by Charles Kellerman with Paul Godden, Ollie Ricks, Michael Seal all involved in that as well. Chappell, then you've got Smith, Jackalett, Jones, Gibbons, Deemer, Ridley, Toon, Parfitt there as well at the back end, unfortunately for him. Has been involved in a couple of incidents with Michael Seal and then, of course, Mick Barry straight lining. But now we're going to be looking at going 3 wide here as well. That's on the number 4 with Smith and Jackalett. Jackalett's going to use Chappell, I believe, to block him in here. Smith can't get through. They're going to be running side by side once more. And an absolute... Oh, they're on the straight again. Mark Chappell, Wayne Palmer. Oh, boys, you're on a straight. There's Palmer in front. Chappell's on the outside. He's trying to come back on track. Oh, and unfortunately for Palmer, it was him on the outside there. Not an ideal scenario for Palmer. Hardy's out in front, but look at Kazar, look at Ayres, look at Dalmont, look at McCain. All fighting it out here as well, Callum, and what a stellar job all of these guys are doing.
Yeah, certainly a wonderful job. That's developing in front of us, I think is the right word for it. And well, they're really showing their talent out there tonight with the amount of overtakes that are going on, a lot of side by side as well, and nothing's really stopping these guys from going all out here tonight. They've got the space to do so, and well, my god, they're using every inch of that track that they can to put on a good performance here. The race has really... But Heat 1 was close all throughout the race between many different cars, and once again, we're treated to the same in race 2. Like, look at all these cars come down straights, corners, and all sorts, as they're all in a very long slipstream chain, some side by side, like they're going on to Noah's Ark, others opting for the single file line, like true British people would do. But it's fantastic to see that they're all giving it a good old shot, and especially going side by side up through the S's, you do still have to have some nerve for that, because especially coming off the top S bend, you're kind of very close to the walls there. So very interesting. And there's a bit of contact there towards the back. Newman's involved in that. And unfortunately, the iRace Clio is off into the wall head first. That is Alan McCain. He's going to drop down a few positions and probably going to have some bad damage on the front of that car. But it looks like he tried to hit square on, so it shouldn't be affecting the steering. But just as I say that, it looks like he's starting to do a bit of a crab dance down the straight.
Yeah,
I was completely wrong. It's heavily affected the steering because he's, if you look at the front left wheel there, completely detached.
Ooh. Yes, unfortunately for Alan McCain, Newman did manage to survive that, but unfortunately for him, he's dropped all the way down into 23rd place now. Then you've got this Michael Seal, Lee Deemer battle here as well. That's got Carl Ridley involved in that, and Chappell. They're running side by side at the moment here. Is Deemer and Seal, with Ridley behind him, trying to come back through the field, of course, starting from the pit lane last time out. So unfortunately, he did miss the start of this race. But here comes Carl Ridley on the inside of Michael Seal. The AM of Seal, the pro of Ridley. Ridley does go through. What about David Ayres and Delmont? They're still battling it out as well. Delmont's surrounded by 3 AMs at the moment. You've got Danny Kazar, you've got David Ayres, Danny Kazar, and then obviously further back, Derek Crowther. Crowther's gone all the way down into 8th there, Callum. Not entirely sure what's happened to Deck, but David Ayres is giving it a good old go here over Adam Delmont as he's chasing down Hardy. You can see the line of cars, and you can see others trying to come through. Delmont's pulled out. He's going to send it out the inside of Hardy. Hardy's got to try, if he can, running around that outside. He slots in behind Delmont here, Callum, and this battle is hotting up just like race 1 was.
Yeah, fantastic little battle. And I think the reason Dick Crowther's fallen down a little bit on the standings there, I think he's saving his tyres for the last race. There's probably a limit on these Clio tyres, so he's probably just saving them for the final heat. And I don't blame him either. It's not going to be easy to do that, but I'd say that's the tactic behind that. So good work, I think. Good tactical work from the pit crew of Dick Crowther.
I'm probably on the understanding
exactly.
That new tyres. So
see, no, is that clear that you're speechless because it's such a good tactic. So it's good from Dick Crowther that he's P8 at the minute. He's saving them tyres very well. So he's having a good race, to be fair, in the pack he's in. He's just saving his tyres, bless him. That's all he's doing. But he's having a lovely race, nevertheless.
Okie dokie. Well, you carry on thinking that that's a thing, and we'll just say he gets new tyres every race and leave it with me. Alan McCain there, he said Deck is only 4'3" tall, apparently. Barnesy said he is 4'3" with his heels on. So I'm guessing Alan McCain is a tiny little gentleman as well. And anything basically under 4.5 feet or 4 feet, aren't they classed as a dwarf?
I don't know, because isn't that the height of modern Xboxes and PlayStations?
What,
so are they not then deemed as a console?
I don't really know.
Yeah, have you seen the size of some of these towers? They're bloody tall.
I've seen the
That's
PS5
the height of my PC
one.
tower.
Do you know the interesting thing about PS5s, right? You couldn't get hold of them for love nor money. I know I'm digressing a little bit from the racing. You couldn't get hold of them for love nor money when they first come out, right? I walk into Gex today, and there's like 10 of them sat on the shelf for sale.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, no wonder I can't get hold of them. They're all sat here. So,
yeah, exactly. They're hoarding them. They're hoarding them. Just like Deck Crowther is with his tyres. They're hoarding them.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure that's working out for you. Ollie Ricks and Sam Smith here are in another battle with Carl Jacklet, Callum, Jones, Gibbons, Godden, Ridley and Deemer. And Seal is just dropping off the back end there. So is Chappell at the moment. Parfitt's a little bit further back from that. Did have a good start, unfortunately, for him, but unfortunately did find himself caught up in some incidents with Michael Seal and obviously Mick Barry in the second to last corner. But these guys battling away once more as they're coming onto the straight. I want to catch up really quickly with what's going on with Delmont and here as well with Hardy, because they're going full bore into the corner at the moment. You can see Delmont taking over there. What about Smith? They're coming towards us now as well. And Sam Smith and also Ollie Ricks. Smith's closing the door. Ricks has got his nose up the inside there, Sam. You've got to give him a little bit of room. He was alongside you. Charles Jacklet swerving all the way round in the background as well. He's trying to make haste there once more. But these guys are all battling it out through this mid-pack as Jacklet and Ricks almost come together. with Charles Kellerman, with Craig Jones in there as well, Stuart Gibbons, Paul Godden, Carl Ridley. So an interesting fight is developing all the way through the field here, and we've still got the front. We're almost going to be 3 wide further back as well. You can see it with Charles Kellerman. We are 3 wide. Gibbo, Kellerman and Jones all into turn 1. Oh, Jones not again. No, Jones into Kellerman. Hold your brakes. Oh, Kellerman has just made his car a Fiat Punto there as well. He's kind of lost all parts of that car. Look at the state of that. Oh.
Back wheels are locked up as well by the looks of things. Not able to move them at all. So you got the weight reduction +1 modification on that car, but also lost in the entirety of its power as well. So yeah, not very good at all for that Clio there. But Adam Delmont is on the other end of the scale and has a pristine Clio, beaming in first place at the minute. Just 1 or 2 tenths up the road from Carl Hardy. And here's what happened then just moments ago. And you can see there's a bit of a tap on the rear bumper there. Sends those two into each other. Stuart Gibbo looks like he's got a bit of, probably has a little damage on the front of the vehicle, but maybe not too race impeding. You can see he actually collides after these two spin off. And this is with Kellerman. He turns around there, and there's Gibbo hitting the Result Clothing car there as he goes through into the S's. So not a pretty sight at all for those guys, but as I always say, hopefully they can carry on if that's doable. Have they got a fast repair for this session?
Yes, they've got one fast repair all the way through for every race.
Well, there we go. They should be able to get back out there fairly soon. Well, it depends if they're able to drive it around to the pits or have to tow, because I think the tow time's a bit ridiculous around here. But it's something that we've got to deal with, unfortunately. There is another race to go, though, so their night isn't over yet. And, well, I thought we could see a bit of side-by-side there, but Hardy's not quite close enough to initiate that move. So they're still going to be single files. That stands Delmont is your leader of the race. Hardy just behind, and David Ayres just behind that, P3, and overall, but P1 for the AM. So fantastic position for David Ayres there.
Yeah, Alan McCain is staying out in front at the moment. He's managing to hold on. He's not being closed down by the leaders, but I think he's going to be closed down this lap here. The man, obviously, Alan McCain there from Northern Ireland, of course. Here in that Clio, he's sitting there as well, and here comes Delmont, here comes Hardy, here comes Ayres, here comes Van Alsten, everybody else behind him. Alan McCain, what are you going to do here, sir? I know you're running round about the same times, give or take at the moment, but we are under blue flags, and he can probably guarantee he's sat in that car wondering what is James going to be saying about this. So you can imagine on that situation, but I'm sure McCain will vacate the premises as best as he possibly can here. And Alan McCain there, the man from Northern Ireland, is coming up to be lapped by our leaders very, very shortly, I'm sure, from Alan McCain. Come on now, don't let me down, don't let me down. Leave the inside line open, and there goes Delmont, there goes Hardy as well, and Alan McCain does let them guys through, and off he goes once more, getting into his own race. Carl Hardy trying to close back down on Delmont. Jacqueline sat battling out side by side with Sam Smith and Andy Littler currently at the moment. These three are nose to tail. Then behind that we've got Ollie Riggs, and then Lee Deemer and Paul Godden as well. Mick Barry and Wayne Palmer are in the pits. Lee Deemer's trying to send it 3 wide down into the penultimate corner. Is this going to work? Only Deemer will be able to tell us. There's contact with him and Riggs coming through that second to last corner. Riggs is going to try and get up the inside for the final one. He's not going to be able to make it through. We've got about nearly 6 minutes remaining here, and it's been absolutely unbelievable racing once more. I think you've got to admit this has probably been one of the best nights we've had.
Yeah, just based on race 1, I thought it was the best, and race 2 is obviously helping boost that. But we still have another race as well after this, I believe. So there's more action yet to come as well. So we're probably at the halfway point in the night, to be fair, at the more just gone past that at the moment for these drivers as well. So they'll have a couple minutes cool down after this race, I imagine, because some of these guys will need it, and David Ayres could be one of them, as he's getting attacked by Mr. Van Alst, who had a good race 1, being your race 1 winner, and he's gone up the inside line. got past David Ayres with not much issue at all. Can he hold that position though? Because we've seen what happens going side by side into these last couple of corners. Can David slip his nose up the outside there, try and get the attack on, or maybe switch back onto the inside? He does look towards the switch, but kind of half-heartedly, and doesn't go for it in the end. And the Renault Clio car does sit back there into P4, but he knows he's leading his class at the minute. So the focus should really be on that. But at the end of the day, he's a racing driver, so he does want to move up positions if he possibly can. And who knows, he could be in for a podium here as well as an AM, so that would be fantastic stuff for David Ayres as well. But Danny Cassar, the second place AM, just behind David Ayres by 2 positions. It's 6th place overall, just behind Pete Newman. Newman also having a good first race, finishing P3 overall. But Danny Cassar's giving it nice and tight towards Mr. Newman there. So the AMs and the pros, I wouldn't really say the classes are splitting them in terms of their racing ability out there tonight. Things are so close, they are fighting each other, which is nice to see because it's like everyone is part of the same class now. So I am thoroughly enjoying this, but you can see Deck Crowther has caught up big time to Danny Cassar as well. There's a car between them still, but they're going to go battling out as well. And, well, the chase is on, really, for the AM title between these two. And, well, you know, Deck Crowther did get a good race 1, but can he carry on that momentum? He needs to try and get close, or side by side at least, with Cassar in the last 4 minutes of this race, and it's going to be tight, and there's a lot of time to make up considering how consistent these guys have been. I don't know if that's going to be possible.
Yeah, we're going to have to find out how this one pans out throughout the end of this race. Delmont is opened up about half a second at the moment, with Van Hol still battling away with Hardy once more. Crowther, as you say, is battling out with John Bailiff, and then you got Sam Smith, Carl Jacklett and Kyle Ridley. Ollie Ricks is going to having a good old scrap here as well with Paul Godden at the moment here, Callum. I think these two are battling it out as well. Now, the interesting thing at the moment, you say about Gibbo, and Gibbo's the one who's gone in, who's been going to be pole man for race 3.
Yeah, not bad at all there. As things stand for him, not bad.
Oh,
but it will. Sorry, I keep knocking things. So I'm very clumsy tonight because I'm so focused on the race and I'm hitting into stuff because I'm moving around in my chair. Because I have to admit, it's very edge of the seat stuff, so I can't really sit in one position watching this because Delmont and Hardy are keeping things lively at the front. But one name that is a little bit away at the minute, just under 3 seconds, is Van Alst. And well, if he can catch up, we may see Van Alst and Delmont battle once again. And well, at the minute, Delmont really has to focus on Hardy because they are once again coming up bumper to bumper in the penultimate turn now. Coming into the final turn, they're still going to be single file with Alan McCain just behind them. Obviously, he was the blue flag car there. And hopefully he'll stay behind the battle. But he does certainly have the pace, so it's unfortunate earlier in the race for him to drop down to where he is now. But he does definitely have the pace to well and truly be inside this battle. So he's just going to stick on behind these two as these two are battling out for the lead. Just under 2 minutes to go now. Not long at all for Delmont to try and bring home a win and try and I guess make a comeback from what he deserves really in race 1. He has such a fantastic race 1, and then it's just the unfortunate collision that sent him down the grid a little bit. So hopefully he can get what he deserves and grab that race victory. But Carl Hardy isn't going to let him have that easily, as they're going to be drafting up the back straight now, all the way towards the outer loop. Not much to go now. Into the braking zone we go about now. And a bit later on the brakes there for Delmont compared to Hardy. Hardy was on a bit earlier, probably trying to hold that inside line a bit tighter. You can see there he's well and truly on that inside line, keeping both inside wheels on that rumble strip. Not bad line at all there, and momentum as well, because it keeps him within a tenth of the leader there. So this is going to be a tight battle, and it's going to come down to the wire in the last lap or two here. Not long to go now, just over a minute left.
Yeah, they are. Adam Delmont and Carl Hardy, Sam Van Holst and David Ayres, Pete Newman, all fighting it out further down on this one. We go over to the final lap now, Callum. This is going to be how they're going to decide this one. Can Delmont get this victory, do you think?
I'm really backing I'm backing David Ayres to get that AM victory. I think it's going to be close between those three though, because as you can see the timings are really mixing up there, and just as I said, that Ayres has moved into the lead, but there's a bit of squirreliness going on there, and Cassar retakes that AM lead. I think Delmont's going to come across with the overall race win.
Right, well, let's see how Delmont is going to be interested. Can we do 10 races tonight? It doesn't matter if we do 10, Craig. Are you going to survive any of them?
There was no need for that. There was no need.
Oh, I love you really, Mr. Jones.
Absolute violation.
I know. As my mama says, you better call the fire brigade because you've just been burned. Sorry, I was watching Young Sheldon the other day. Adam Delmont is going to come round. Is he going to be able to hang on to this lead? Delmont with Hardy. Hardy's going to be in second place. I've got a funny feeling Delmont is going to take this one here once more. What's happening down in the AMS? Delmont is going to come through with Hardy. We go back to the AMS. They're still finding out Kazar, the Crowbar, all in the same shot. It's going to be Danny Kazar is going to get the AMS victory there as well. A great job from Danny Kazar. Stellar run from everybody here, Callum, and an amazing race overall.
Yeah, fantastic race. We were treated in race 1 and once again treated in race 2. And, well, I think big things in store for race 3. So hopefully we can get all these cars around and commence race 3 as soon as possible because I'm really looking forward to this.
Oh, dear. Harsh. Sorry, Craig. Sorry. I love Jamie Degger. Wow, Jim Bob with the salt. Yeah, I know, but, you know, it's Craig Jones. He'll give it back to me as much as he gets it there. But let's have a look at the results from race 2. You know, I love you really, Craig. Adam Delmont out in front with Carl Hardy in second, Sam Van Olst in third, Pete Newman fourth, Danny Kazar fifth, David Ayres sixth, Derek Crowther seventh there, like 1, 2, 3 in the AMS, fifth, sixth and seventh overall. Stellar job. John Bailiff, Sam Smith, Carl Ridley, Carl Jacklett and Lee Deemer. They're your top 12. Then you got Paul Godden, Ollie Ricks, Andy Littler, Ollie Ricks, Michael Seal, Mark Chappell and Edward Parfitt in 18th there. Good job to you, sir. So Alan Toon in 19th. Stuart Gibbo's going to be on pole for race 3. And then we've got Alan McCain, Charles Kellerman, Craig Jones, Mick Barry and Wayne Palmer. So Gibbo on pole for race 3. That's going to be interesting for him.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I think he'll look forward to that, though. And he's got the pace, so hopefully he can keep it out in front.
Yeah, I think so as well there. I do love Craig's comments. It's weird how I always prefer the other commentator. Oh, stop it, Mr. Jones. It's not my fault.
I did put a disclaimer in the chat, to be fair.
Oh, did you? I would like to remind the chat that burns and comments of James do not represent me. Suck up. Take an apple to the teacher. Oh, dearie me. Has Deck won the AMS yet? No. There is still a possibility that he could be caught by Gibbo, Kellerman, Chappell, Kazar, and that's it. So there is still a slight possibility. Now, after this one as well, with the scores on the website, if they're completely out of contact, they go white. If they're in with a chance of winning, they go red. So I think there's still the top 5, I believe, that could win the championship. But Deck and Kazar have swapped wins tonight. Crowther won the first one, Kazar's just won the second one, so they've kind of nullified the standings there. Kazar was in third in race 1, Crowther was in third in race 2, and the man in the middle there was David Ayres. So Ayres is doing an absolute stellar job. I've got him down at the moment. Hold on. David Ayres, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's currently on 5 podiums in a row. He is.
Max Verstappen in disguise.
Knockhill reverse race 1, he was second. Second in race 2. Third in race 3. Second in race 1 here. Second in race 2. That's 5 podiums in a row for David Ayres. Go on, David. You're man on a mission there, Callum, at the moment.
Yeah, he certainly is, and like I say, it's Max Verstappen in disguise with that kind of record. Not bad going at all. That's going to be some good points on that championship table for him, so that'll be a good end to the season there.
Yeah,
and well, let's see how long he can carry it on.
Well, it's going to give him quite a nice little boot up the championship at the moment. Obviously, he's got the likes of Mick Barry, Ollie Ricks, Paul Godden, Alan Toon, Dixon, Williams, Parfitt, Littler, and Lewis all in front of him. So he's got a bit of a way to climb up. Definitely ain't going to reach the likes of Craver and Kazar, so there we go. But he's having a good old go here. They're trying to share it, says Jamie Dengle. Well, maybe. But they're doing a good job so far. I think they've kind of nullified each other's scores, though, haven't they, by race 1 and race 2 at the moment, where they were swapping first and third. So, there we go. Right, minute 20 on the clock here, Callum. Who's going to win it in race 3? Top 20 reverse.
Ooh. Now, everyone that I pick
Crashes.
ever wins. No, I wouldn't say crash. I'm not that bad, but they don't tend to win the race.
Okay, so there's your top 18 in front of you. So you can imagine Delmont is going to be 20th. Hardy, Van Olst, Newman, Kazar, Craver, Bailiff, Smith, Ridley, Jacklet, Deemer, Godden, Littler. And Gibbo's on pole.
Gibbo is on pole. See, I want to back Gibbo, but at the same time, I don't want to curse him. Now, I don't want to curse Mini Parfitt, but I know that that boy has some pace when he's near the top end of things. So I'm going to back Parfitt Jr., I think, because I have seen, and I'm hoping I don't curse him, don't get me wrong, but I have seen that he does have pace when he's out in front and defending, does actually do surprisingly well. You know, if you take his last couple of results, you wouldn't necessarily expect to see him fighting the pros for a race win overall, but I think when he's out there, he's got it in him. And he's starting second row. Yeah, I think he's got a good chance of this. If he can get a good start, get past Toon, and try and fight Gibbons out into turn 1, could be well and truly on for Mini Parfitt.
Okay.
Podium, at least.
Well, we'll bring you up the grid for race 3 here. And it is Stuart Gibbons, Alan Toon, Edward Parfitt, Mark Chappell, Michael Seal, Ollie Ricks, Andy Littler and Paul Godden, Lee Deemer and Carl Jacklet. I'm going to go with Jacklet. I've got a funny feeling here he's just going to come by and storm me through the field. Carl Ridley, Sam Smith, John Bailiff, Deck Craver and David Ayres are your top 15. Then you've got Danny Kazar, Pete Newman, Sam Van Olst, Carl Hardy, Adam Dalmon, Alan McCain, Charles Kellerman, Craig Jones, Mick Barry and Wayne Palmer. So let's see what's going to happen here as well. Oh, mini-me and our internet. I do apologise to all the drivers here as well. Our internet is shocking. I am looking at getting another line installed in the house here so we can split the internet across the house because it is quite awful at the moment. But Stuart Gibbons out in front here. So let's see what happens for race 3. Who is going to be able to take the victory? Is it gonna be Gibbo? Is it gonna be Toon? Is it gonna be Parfitt? Is it gonna be Chappell? Well, time's gonna tell now. Lights are on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we are going to be green, green, green for the final race of the evening. And it is Gibbo, it is Toon, it is Parfitt, it is Chappell here as well, trying to battle it out. Parfitt's going to go up the inside of Saddle Toon there as they're going to be running up through the S's now, side by side. Oh, that was Chappell into the wall. He's bounced off the wall, managing to keep going there as well. Not entirely sure what the situation was. Mini-me's being involved. They're 4 wide further back, I think, as well at the moment. Is going off back here. There we go. Oh no, Newman, down one. Oh. Yeah.
I think the less words the better, but that doesn't represent the racing that we're seeing all of tonight.
Lee Deemer's gone round as well. And I believe that may have been called Paul Godden into the wall. It was not quite sure how everybody got involved in this one. I've got a funny feeling it starts here with David Ayres possibly. It doesn't. It's actually, is that Ridley and Kellerman? And then Ayres. Newman pushes him out of the way. Watch Kellerman there as well.
His car's trying to brake and swerve at the same time, which is sending them around each other and spinning each other out. So not much you can do there, unfortunately.
Well, unfortunately, we did manage to get through race 3 until everybody then unfortunately had a little bit of a set two and coming together. We have got Godden, Jacklet, Callum, Palmer, McCain, Jones all in the pits here. And Mini-Me still sitting in fourth at the moment. He's just defending from Ollie Ricks here for this third final podium position. Now, one man I do want to give a big shout out to as well is the man that's sitting in second at the moment. I tell you what, if Alan Toon comes through and wins this, I will be the happiest man alive here. Carl Ridley's just got nowhere to go between these two hands. Parfitt needs to up the pace a little bit, otherwise he's going to be losing that place to Sam Smith and Carl Ridley. I think there's going to be job done here as well. Oh, he's got the doors left open. They're going through it once more. Down through the penultimate corner. Parfitt's on the inside here as well. Is he going to be able to make this stick? Over Ollie Rick, Sam Smith pushing him along as well, trying to help him out. Parfitt's going to come across. Oh, they're going to be rubbing on the outside. Oh, God blimey, Callum. That was close.
That was indeed a bit door to door, but it's going to get even closer, and unfortunately it's come round. And that's Sam Smith dropping down the positions. I was getting rid. Oh no, Parfitt's gone as well.
Littler.
There's a missed braking point there. Littler's gone straight into the back of him, and this has turned into Yarmouth Stadium banger racing by the looks of things. Cars all over the shop, bumpers everywhere you look, and unfortunately not been the cleanest of starts.
Smith did try and force a gap there, mind you.
There's a lock-up Littler right at the last second, but that's a heavily missed braking zone there. Straight into the back of Parfitt. So hopefully he hasn't got whiplash in that Clio as he goes side by side with Delmont at the minute down the back straight, leading towards the long sweeping right-hander. And I will just say one quick thing as well. I know it's not the best time considering he's just gone into the wall, but there is a shout out in need for Sam Smith. He was up 14 odd positions last race and done an amazing job on the grid with the amount of overtakes, but I've noted it down. I just didn't get a chance to say it because I didn't remember.
Right, okay. Well, Deemer's battling away here as well. So Alan Toon is in second place overall. Go Tooney, go crack it, son. Go on, Tooney. I'm sorry, I'm now supposed to be biased, but anybody that knows Alan Toon, you've got to love Alan Toon. And he is here in second overall, chasing down Gibbo, with Ridley behind it, who's being chased down by Ricks and Bailiff. And oh man, how happy would everybody be, Callum, if Alan Toon took a victory? It would be ecstatically amazing.
It would be amazing indeed, but I will say this, if Toon manages to finish on the podium this race and just maintain at least P3 or higher, I will do a shoey at the end of the Clio season because that deserves it. Careful now, don't spit all over your mic. I heard that. That's nasty. We don't need that in the booth. I've already cleaned it up once today. So Toon's going around the outside of the outer loop. Still in P2, but a shoey's coming up. Obviously, if he can maintain this, he's still 1.2 seconds up. He's gaining time in the outer loop, which is impressive. All the way down the straight, gaining time on Ridley. Ridley needs to get his foot down if he's to catch Toon. And, well, Bailiff needs to get his foot down as well if I don't want to be drinking from my shoe at the end of the season.
Well, I need a cloth. See what you say. Currently at the moment. That one a little bit wrong. But, yeah. Well, go out or two. Do the job. Let's see what happens there. Instead of run, we have got a little bit of a pack developing behind Andy Littler at the moment. We've got Lee Deemer, Crowther, Parfitt and Delmont. Delmont still hasn't cleared Parfitt, which I expected to happen sort of fairly soon, to be honest, because Delmont's given him a little bit of push there as well. Slightly on nose-to-tail contact for Deemer. Toon is still managing to hang on. He's 4 tenths back at the moment. Parfitt's got Delmont for company here, and further up, Addy Littler and Lee Deemer running side by side at the moment here, Callum, as well. This is it's been turned into an interesting race, partly because of that chaos at the beginning, hasn't it? With people where we wouldn't expect people normally to be.
Yeah, I mean, the race being led by AMS is always something to sort of a bit of an eye-opener, really. But it's good to see. It's quite nice seeing the mix of yellow and red, but there's a lot more yellow at the top half of the table than there is red. I know we had the reverse grid, but still, There's a large collision, and it seemed to involve quite a few of the pros, unfortunately. So they seemed to get the back end of it, obviously due to the reverse grid. They were starting a bit further back than where they normally would be. But yeah, like you said, that's kind of put a spanner in the works. Let's put a spin on things. You know, people are in different places to where we would normally expect them. And I will say, Ollie Ricks is 7/10 away from saving my shoes. So fingers crossed, Ollie Ricks can get his foot down. As much as I want Toon to get on that podium, Ollie Ricks is close to saving my Adidas trainers. But Littler at the minute is after that slight earlier collision with Mini Parfitt. He's currently sort of in the front of this pack of four, and Mini Parfitt has taken a slightly wide line and just decided to do a little drive-by co-op as he goes around turn one. But he's back on the track and going once again, and this pack are, I wouldn't say the closest, but they're still going side by side. You can fit two buses between them, but they're closing up now as Ollie Ricks comes down the straight next to Bailiff then, and well, Ollie Ricks looks to have his nose just in front of Senor Bailiff. But Bailiff goes once again on the inside and gains that position nice and easily.
Definitely there as well. It's a nice, easy overtake. Parfitt has now got Van Olst climbing all the way up behind him. We're just about to see free wide here. If I flick out onto this camera, they were almost free wide. Bailiff did come over and cover off Ricks when Motif decided that he wants to work. And Littler gets himself out of the way of that. He doesn't want any result in that whatsoever. Parfitt there lost a place to Van Olst. I'm sure he's just come back on track, but he's now going to go up the inside. He was alongside. There was gaps there. Parfitt did try and go up the inside of Van Olst. He's now got Hardy right behind him as well here. And Mini-Me fighting it with Sam Van Olst here, and he's not letting him get away at the moment.
No, Sam Van Olst is one of the only drivers at the minute to be on the podium for both races, P1 and then P3 in the first two races. And well, Parfitt's gone for a move at the inside, bit of a lock up there. Van Olst and Parfitt had a little bit of contact, but nothing that's going to impede either of their races. But that is going to force Parfitt and Hardy to go side by side up through the S's. Hardy currently has the inside line, but then Vantage goes forward towards Parfitt's vehicle. Then as his Clio comes around, they're still corner to corner at the minute. They're both very aware of each other because you can see Parfitt slightly swerving to the left there to make sure that he's given Hardy enough space. So great respect and space between these two, and they switch lines by the looks of it. Parfitt's going to go on the defensive into the outer loop.
Yeah, it definitely is at the moment. He's got Hardy Van Olst in front of him, and he's trying to get through. We're keeping an eye here on Ollie Ricks. Ollie Ricks did clear Alan Toon, and so did John Bailiff. So your shoes may be surviving here once more, you lucky, lucky dog, you. However, as interesting as that would have been. Good evening, Mr. Williams. Welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us here as well. But Chapel's having a good old go here with Dalmont. I've got a funny feeling Dalmont is literally behind him at the moment. So there is Dalmont, Dima, Crowther, all fighting it out with Littler. And then you've got the Van Olst, Parfitt and Hardy battle further back here. As we can see, they're still fighting it out as well. Dalmont's trying to go around the outside of Dima. He's managing it. He kept his foot in that run of one there. That could have been a little bit more dangerous for Dalmont, because I've always wondered the rules right here, Callum. If a man is on track, off track, do you, in hindsight, have to give him room to come back on, or should he back off and wait for you to go past? I've always wondered on that rule, because technically they're not actually on the black stuff.
I think if you're on the tarmac yourself and you're on like in racing conditions, whether there's cars around you or not, and you're going at speed on a racing circuit, I think you have the right of way. You don't have to give space to the car coming on, but I think just out of what would you say, reactions really, and caution, I think people just naturally give those space that have gone off track near them so they can enter the track. I think it's just being polite really from those racers that are still on the circuit. So I think I would say more the ruling is if there's a car off track and he's looking to rejoin, technically he should really wait until there's a clear space to do so. It's just like pulling out of a T-junction really. Unless you're given the space by someone else that's currently got the right of way, then well, wait your turn.
That's what Craig Jones just said. Of course, he's back in YouTube chat early once more here for the third race. You don't need to give room, in my opinion, but I can't even finish a race. So, you know, as he said, we could run 10 races, and would he finish them, Callum? Who knows? Here as well. And I've always wondered that, because they are technically off track, so, you know, slow down, innit? You don't need to give them room to come back on. But obviously Parfitt and Hardy are still going at it further back here, but we've also got Godden and Jacqueline running a little bit near and close together as well. And then up front, we've got Bailiff battling away with Ollie Ricks, I believe, in that 95. It is Ollie Ricks. Ricks is up 10 places overall here. Ridley has taken the lead. Where did Carl Ridley come from? Have I completely missed the fact that Carl Ridley here happens to pass Stuart Gibbo? I think Gibbo, well, yeah, he's just left the door wide open, and Ridley does go through there. But Ollie Ricks having a nice little battle. Then you can see that gaggle of cars coming down here with Dalmont. But I was just taking that same line. So technically, my boy don't have to let him back on. That's what I would say. Because you're off track, you're not on the racing circuit. So, you know, should he actually come back on? And a big scalp for Edward here. He managed to pass Sam Van Olst. Van Olst has got him running wide. Again, he's off track. Again, he doesn't need to be letting him back on. Personally, I wouldn't have let him back on. And then Parfitt does go on his merry way. Ollie Ricks and John Bailiff still battling out here. And we've got a pro-am. Well, there we go.
That sounds like a really good intro to a rap song. And I think that's the next thing for JPB, a rap commentary.
Do you know what we should do as well? Craig, I've got it. I've got an idea for the next big money maker for BDLV. A Christmas song with everybody in the Discord.
Oh, Lord.
Can you imagine? Christmas song, Craig. All of the community together. Come on, that's got money raised for BDLV all over it.
If you've ever seen a hungry goldfish, that's currently my face. My mouth's just wide open, and I look gormless because I don't know what to say to that.
So yes, that's amazing.
I think it's a great idea, but I'm just speechless that that's just come out of your mouth, to be honest. That you're thinking about Christmas.
Oh, you've always got... mate, I went and bought my first Christmas present the other day, so, you know, you can say whatever you like, but I went and bought my first Christmas one. First Christmas present.
I retire.
All right, well, that's up to you. Saves me, you know, whatever. But I was the Parfitt battling out side by side here once more. What do we think, chat, as well? Christmas #1, Christmas song for the iRacing, sim racing community, JPB Christmas song. You know, I'm sure I'll get... I know what I'll do. I'll get my brother-in-law writing words, because he's a bit of a musician, so I'll ask him. Oh, Hardy and Van Olst having a big old run here. I'll tell you what, my boy's going to come off here absolutely sweating after this. No! Go straight, go straight, go straight! I don't think he's going straight. Oh, he's not. Oh, contact with Van Olst there. What about Bailiff and Ricks? They're still going at it around the outer loop here. And Bailiff and Ricks once more fighting out round the outer loop. Out front, Carl Ridley, though, is battling. He's got half a second over Gibbo at the moment here and is doing an absolute stellar job.
Certainly is. And now that you've mentioned that, I'm now trying to think of Christmas song lyrics for Watkins Glen and the Clio. It's terrible. Once it gets in your head, you can't get rid of it. But Bailiff is coming around, and he's certainly not thinking about Christmas, because he's trying to fend off Ollie Ricks and get that podium result that he wants, get that P3, and that'll be the second time on the podium for Mr. Bailiff if he can manage it. But they are making contact now down the straight, so they don't want to give each other the position. Still contact corner to corner in turn 1, and that's going to impede the pace of both these cars as the two behind are catching.
Bailiff weren't happy there. He was on the lights. I'm definitely reckon he weren't sitting there saying good move either. So I've got a funny feeling that Bailiff was not overly impressed with Ollie Ricks here. Crowther's battling away with Demo. We have got Gibbons, Ricks and Toon. So Alan Toon is still third out of the AMs at the moment. So he is still third on the podium. So technically, you've still got to do a shoey, right? Because he's still got the podium in the AMs.
I didn't actually think of that when I said it, because I was thinking about overall, but because I didn't specify myself, I can't really back out of that now. So I'm hoping that Mark Chappell suddenly finds a burst of pace and an extra 62 horsepower at least to catch up to Mr. Toon. Because to be fair to Toon, he's absolutely flying, and what result this will be if he brings it home. And like you say, James, you know, everyone's going to love that result. If he can finish on the podium, that would be fantastic.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If Alan Toon gets third in the AMS overall here, that'd be absolutely crazy. Ollie Ricks is defending for his life here from Bailiff. Bailiff's just got his elbows out as well. We're going into the last 3 minutes once more, and Bailiff and Ricks are fighting it out side by side here. Down they go, round that final corner. They're still side by side with Alan Toon behind him. Tooney's hanging on there. They've just cleared Pete Newman. Who would have thought these words would ever come out of my mouth? Pete Newman has been lapped by Alan Toon. That's like huge. Within the sim racing world, Alan Toon has lapped Pete Newman at Watkins Glen. Bailiff is still running side by side with Ollie Ricks. I can guarantee now Tooney's going to come off here with the biggest smile you're ever going to see in a man, ever. Ricks and Bailiff still fighting out. They're having an absolute epic scrap here, Callum. You got to be honest.
They certainly are, and it's just like watching race one with Delmont and Vernost. It's just side by side. There's a little bit of bump in there, contact between the two, but they're still going to go side by side and not let anything up for this final podium position. We're entering the last 2 minutes now, coming up to that as these guys come around into the final corner. And yeah, it's just like a replay of race one, really, that we're having side-by-side battles. They're just holding. When they do make contact, they hold the contact there, so they don't keep ramming each other. Once they're together, it's like they're locked together. It's like two trains have just collided and they're just interlocked. And, well, I think that was a bit of a wake-up nudge, to be fair, between those two, because there was no locking up together with that one. But they're going to go bumper to bumper once again into the S's for the last couple of minutes of the final race of the evening.
Yeah, they definitely are here as well. We're going to be on the final lap this time around here. Bailiff, Ricks, Tooney, and has been... I can't believe Alan Toon's lapped Pete Newman. I think that is just absolutely incredible. I know Pete was involved in the incident. Don't get me wrong. It's, you know, it's subjective at best here. But I think, you know, look, I'm going to be excited about it. So there we go. As Bailiff and Ricks once more go down into this outer loop here. What's happening with Littler and Crowther? They're running side by side currently at the moment. Littler has made it through. Crowther now sends it out the inside. Crowther here as well in that Blade Designs livery car is doing a stellar job here as well, hanging on to Andy Littler. What about Ricks and Bailiff? Well, they're still backside to side here, Callum. They just can't leave each other alone over the last few laps.
They can't. They are side by side, and they have been for majority of the last sort of 10-15 minutes now, really. And these guys, the battle has been on and it's been incredibly tight. There's the white flag, and the pace is just so similar between these two. There's nothing to really split them. Ridley's managed to pull away a bit from Stuart Gibbons up there at the top, but Stuart's even had a good race as well. 8.2 second lead advantage on these two. These two have been battling out, so that has slowed them down a little bit. Bit wide for Ollie Ricks there. He needs to try and get in that slipstream as soon as possible and try and gain some momentum up through the S's if he possibly can find it to keep this battle on now for the last lap, because if not, and the way things are going at the minute, that time's coming down, and Tooney could move up in position here.
He could do as well. Can Alan Toon make any more positions here as well? The fact that he's sitting in third in the AMS is an absolute stellar job. Ridley's going to be out in front. Is Bailiff going to be in second place in the pros here? They're leaning on each other once more. Bailiff and Ricks does manage to go off. Delmont is looking like third in the pros at the moment. Keeping an eye on the leaders. The leaders are coming around the final corner now. And you can see them here. It's Carl Ridley's going to come over the line. Go over the line. Ridley does take the victory. Great job from Carl Ridley. What about Ollie Ricks and Bailiff? Bailiff's going to put Ricks against the wall. Ricks is going to do it. I think Ricks is going to take third overall with John Bailiff. Alan Toon takes the podium. Timney goes third. Mileham's doing a shoey.
My inner Daniel Ricciardo is screaming right now, but myself, I'm thrilled that Alan Toon has got a podium, but I'm devastated that I've now got to have one of my shoes soaked, shall we say.
Oh, Tooney! Sorry. Anyway, I know we're not football, but I'm absolutely amazed by that. Go on out! Love it. Charles Callum is going to come over the line. He's battling away here as well. I believe that's Wayne Palmer. They're going to be running side by side all the way down to the line. It's going to be Palmer. It's going to be Callum. It's going to be Danny Gazar. Kovacs, welcome in. The only track I can actually hang with good drivers on. Mate, stellar job there as well. But here are the results. Chewy. Carl Ridley is your winner with Stuart Gibbons in second, Ollie Ricks third, John Bailiff fourth, Sir Alan Toon in fifth, and Mark Chappell in sixth. Big shout out to Tooney. Podium in the AMS. Go Al, go Al. And then we got Ted Crowther, Lee Deemer in eighth. I love Alan Tooney's quality, so for him to take a podium is amazing. Lee Deemer, Andy Littler, Carl Hardy, Sam Van Olst, Edward Parfitt, Sam Smith, Carl Jacklett, Paul Godden, Alan McCain, Adam Delmont, and Wayne Palmer. And then beyond that, you got Charles Kellerman, Danny Kazar, Pete Newman, Craig Jones, Michael Sill, David Ayres, and Mick Barry. Now, I am going to bring in Mr. Craig Jones into the booth, who has joined me here as well. The man who unfortunately did not manage to finish any race here this evening as well after contact in all three races. Welcome in, Mr. Jones. How are you?
I'm great after seeing Sir Alan Toon. That was amazing.
It was, wasn't it? Podium.
I don't care about my night. That's just fantastic to see. Let's have more of that, please.
See, Callum told you. Stellar job there. You had somewhat of a rough night, Mr. Jones.
Yeah, thanks for your support, mate.
What do you want me to say, sir? You crashed. What am I supposed to say?
Mates are meant to support each other when something's not going right. You know, a bit of encouragement, a bit of, come on, you can do it. But no, just like I'm rubbish and I'm not going to finish any races is what I got from you. So,
well, look,
can't Callum interview me because I don't feel like talking to you.
Well, I found some footage of you actually out on track, so that's always good. Which I'm going to run at super slow motion here. Look, look, Craig. On a serious note, you did get yourselves mixed up in some incidents. You did manage to take out a whole team in race one of Palmer and Godden there, and then you got caught up with Charles Kellerman as well. It's been a bit of a rough one, mate.
Well, what actually happened is going around on the first race, going around that last bend, is the driver started throwing stickers out the window randomly, and one landed right on my windscreen. I couldn't see where I was going, and unfortunately, I ended up going into the back of him and causing a minor incident. And in race two, that wasn't my fault. That was on Charles Kellyman. And he said sorry. So big respect. And then race three, well, we all know what happened in race three. I was almost about to get through it, which was annoying. I'd actually slowed down, and my teammate Mick the Wrecking Ball Barry decided not to, and just made the situation 10 times worse. But hey, do you know what? I know I said about 10 races, but that was a fantastic combination. That car, that track. That was a lot of fun. So although I didn't finish any of the races, the racing that I was involved with was absolutely epic. So good track choice there for a change.
Thank you very much, mate. I'm going to let you go because I've seen a name in the interview room that I want to talk to. So as much as I do love you there, Craig, anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Just Sir Alan Toon. I'm massively proud of him. What a race.
Well, Craig, thanks so much for joining me. I'm sure I'll have a chat with you very, very shortly, sir. But much love as always, and I'll catch up with you soon.
Bye.
Well, I've got to pull him in first.
Oh, my word. I've been pulled in mid-sentence. There you go. Evening, James.
Good evening, Alan Toon. Third place in the AMS. Stellar job, sir.
Yes, magical tonight. Don't know what happened, but yeah.
And you got fifth overall, and you lapped Pete Newman.
Yes, but Pete was coaching me in my ear.
So don't worry about that. You're not supposed to tell anyone that, Al. God blimey. You're supposed to say, yes, you went past him and you lapped him and you did it on merit.
Mate,
Well,
that was a good night. That race 3 was epic, wasn't it?
far and away my best result. Honestly, James, it was fantastic. I had a great time in the first race actually with your boy. We I knew that I got good pace because I could hang on to Ed, and he was gathering in the chap in front, so we could see the cars in front, and we were sort of gathering in the bunch slowly but surely, and that was exciting, you know. And then of course I got put on second place in the grid. Well, normally that's just a recipe for disaster. Because everybody comes speeding by me by T1, and I'm hanging on again. But I think there was a big crash behind me, maybe, or something.
Yeah, there was
a gap in there, right? So we had a gap, and then all I had to do was try and keep on the track. Not normally my forte, of course, but it all worked out tonight. Do love this track though, so yeah.
Well,
proper job.
Proper job, Al. I've got to be honest. I'm so made up, and I was a little bit biased in the video, this broadcast as well. So if anybody's watching it back, I promise you, I do normally be unbiased. But Alan Toon in 3rd place in the AMS, 5th overall, does get you a little bit excited. So yeah, you'll have to watch it back there, Al, and have a big old smile on your face because
I will do. I
was a little bit biased, but yeah, mate, absolutely incredible
honestly.
night.
Thanks, James.
No worries.
Thanks to everybody. Great bunch of drivers, and we have fun in this league. It's just, it gets better week by week. Honestly, the racing gets better. The relationships between the drivers is getting better. People, it's all growing, and it's a jolly good place to be. A lot of fun.
Well, thank you, Al, and congratulations, bud. And look forward to having a chat with you soon, hopefully.
All right, my dear.
Take care.
Kick me out because I don't know where the button is.
All right, I'll sort it out. See you later, Al.
Ta-ra, James.
Bye. Oh, dear, I don't care what anybody says. You have to love Alan Toon there as well. But let's have a chat with Paul Godden, of course, Paul from Simstickers, our primary sponsor for this season. Good evening, Paul. How are you?
Yeah, evening, James. Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Just to let you know, Paul, after race 1, I've sacked Craig. He's no longer an admin for taking out both of you at the same time. He did a good job there, didn't he?
Yeah, he done a great job taking us both out, but me and Wayne couldn't stop laughing about it. It was as annoying as it was just so funny to see because we were having a good battle and it was all getting a bit messy, but fairly clean. And then we come up the inside and I think he just was too busy looking where I was and forgot where Wayne was and spun him round. Wayne went backwards into the pits and got an unsafe pit entry and then smashed his car up. So he had to have a penalty and a repair as well. And then I thought I'd go to the outside. But if you look at it, it's a tiny bit of net coat. I don't know if he was coming across us and we clipped or if it was, if he was going to go straight and then it spun us, I'm not sure. But yeah, damaged both cars. But it was one of them things, but it was good fun the whole evening, I think, overall.
Yeah, it was an interesting night, wasn't it, as well, for everybody, to be honest. Slight coming togethers here as well, but overall, how are you getting on? How are you enjoying the season? Because it's been quite a 9-race season here, which is what, 9, we've done 27 races so far, and we've still got 3 to go.
Yeah, no, I'm absolutely loving the season. It's really great to be part of it as a driver and a sponsor. It's an amazing series to be with. I know we've lost a few driver numbers, but the drivers we've got now all seem to give each other just enough respect and have enough space. And it's close racing every race. I mean, I've been battling. I'd say sometimes you battle so hard and you think, gosh, you look down and you're like 16th, 15th, and you're like, oh, we're battling so hard for these late places, but everyone's doing it, and it's just great to be part of. It's just a shame that race 3 didn't go well for me because I went to the outside to try and run around deep, and then unfortunately Lee got turned round, I think, by Carl, and I had nowhere to go, but I hit the barrier and damaged the wheel, and that was the end of that. But overall, it's the series has been great, and only with one more round to go, looking forward to it. But it's a tiring series, I have to give you that.
Yeah, mate, it definitely is. We have got a bit of a pre-race calendar that we did put out earlier on as well, so it's going to be even more tiring, I think, as well. Paul, thank you so much for coming into the booth, as always there, bud, and obviously being on board with JPB for this series. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, obviously, I'd like to shout out to obviously all the drivers for making the series such a great series, and I'd like to make a special shout out to Sir Alan Toon, because he's got his best ever finished, and I think he actually finished third in class as well, which around here with the draft and the it's actually quite a hard track to keep the speed up. He's done amazing tonight to get there. When I looked up there and saw the guys at the top, I was like, yeah, he's done well, and he's fought for that place, so he's done very well tonight. And then lastly, just yourself and Callum for the great broadcast job you guys do.
Thank you very much, Paul, and we look forward to having more of a chat with you. Maybe we'll catch up with you next week.
Yeah, will do.
Take care, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Bye. Right, and looking like the final interview here this evening is one Mr. Carl Ridley. Had an up and down evening and then took the victory in the pros in the third race. Carl, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm doing well. It was, as you said, a up and down race. It didn't help that I missed the start for race 2.
Yeah, I did see that. What happened?
I could just completely forgot to grid.
Okay. So what was you staring at then?
I don't know. I was just staring off into space. Soon as it went to miss start, I clicked it and was like, oh, guys, I've just missed the start. So I'm very happy that I was able to recover to 10th. And avoid the carnage that was race 3 and come out with a win.
Yeah, race 1 you had a little bit of contact with Hardy as well. You know, it's I think that this track itself works really well, and this combo with this car is amazing. But it has been a tough night for some. You know, we've got the likes of Craig Jones, who didn't even finish a race all night, bless him. But for you, you've had an evening, and then you end it on a high with the winning race 3. It's got to kind of make up for the rest of the night a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, a 5th and a 10th is still half decent results when you consider what happened in said races. It was quite funny. Carl hit Kyle, who hit Carl.
I know. You try saying that.
Yeah. I know. I know. But no, like I said, to top it all off with a win and outscoring Lubin today was, a decent morning.
It definitely was, mate, as well. Well, you go and get some sleep, bud, because what's the time now?
Right now, it is 6:11 in the morning.
Oh, rather you than me, mate. But look, an absolutely stellar job, Carl. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
I just want to thank Renault Binner, my teammate John Bailiff, and I just want to give a shout out to my mum, who's not doing too well at the moment.
Okay, well, get well soon, Mrs. Ridley. Is it Mrs. Ridley?
Yeah, Miss Ridley.
Miss Ridley. Well, get well soon, Miss Ridley, and be proud of your son. He's doing a stellar job. Well, Carl, thanks so much for joining us, bud, and we look forward to catching up with you soon.
Thank you. Speak
Take
to you
care.
next week.
Bye. Now, I do wonder if this man has jumped into the booth for a chat to tell us how amazing he did in race 3, or whether or not he was having a conversation with the guys in the waiting room. But it doesn't matter because I've got him here now. Mr. Stuart Gibbons, good evening to you, sir.
Evening, James. Evening, Callum.
You can't sneak in that waiting room, mate, and if you're not coming in for a chat here, I'll tell you that much.
Quite ironic, isn't it?
Well, you've done an absolutely stellar job in race 3, mate. I don't care how the rest of your evening's gone. You know, it's all been up and down for most drivers. But race 3, you've got to be happy with that.
Who wouldn't be? Who wouldn't be? I mean, I was fortunate that I ended up in P20, which put me on pole. And I was like, oh, Lordy, James is going to murder me for this. And then I thought, well, if I can get a decent start, if I can pull away enough at the beginning, then it was just a matter of time before the quick guys catch you up. Fortunately, because of that massive crash, there was only sort of Carl that caught me up, and I thought, right, well, we'll let you go, and I'll just sit behind you and try and stay with you.
Did you think you could get the overall win, though?
It's always nice to dream, James, but no, realistically, I knew somebody quick. Actually,
oh, mate.
Actually.
I thought you
to get a P2, I'm chuffed to bits with that.
And
really chuffed to bits, and a win in the Amps.
winning class. It's been manic, isn't it? I was just saying, we've had a 27 race season already. We've still got another 3 to go at Brands. You know, this season's been a long one, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it has been a long one, and it really has had its ups and downs. I think I managed to either be killed or get killed in all 3 races last week. And then in the first 2 races, I picked up meatballs through no fault of my own in first 2 races. And I'm like, oh, not another week like this. And then end up on pole and able to run away.
Then you pitted in race 2 as well, didn't you?
Yeah, had to.
So you pitted in race 2, come out, claim the 20th spot, and then in race 3 you go and get first in class, second overall.
Yep.
Maybe you should pit in race 2 more often, Gibbo.
Well, it wasn't through choice. It was only because I can't remember who it was. I think Jacqueline and somebody had an incident, and I hit the result of their crash. And as I went up the hill, I'm like, oh no, I've got a meatball, not again. But when I came out of the pits, found myself in 20. I thought, well, it's not all bad, is it?
No, well, it definitely wasn't there, mate. But absolutely stellar there for race 3, Stuart. Incredible job. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, yourselves for putting it on, putting the whole thing together. Callum for his part in the booth. Blade, Crowther for his paint jobs and being team captain and sticking with me, and the Triple BP boys, because although we're fighting against them, they're good mates, those boys. So shout out and to everybody else who's racing.
Awesome stuff, Stuart. Well, thank you so much for joining us there, bud. And we'll look forward to catching up with you again, maybe at the last race at Brands.
Fingers crossed, mate. Fingers crossed.
Take care, bud.
Nice one.
Cheers, mate.
Ta-da.
Bye. Well, there you go, Callum. Another interesting evening. As we say, we have come to the end of race 27. Callum Mileham. 27 races we've done this season already.
Yeah, incredible stuff. And like you guys were mentioning there in some of the interviews, this is a long series. It's a long season. These drivers have done fantastic to even get to this point. There's been some challenging tracks out there, don't get me wrong, but this matchup, I think we had it in a couple of interviews where it was just summed up that this has been the best choice this season. The racing we've seen tonight is just a different story, a different level to what we've seen in some of the other tracks. Of course, it's a lot trickier, being a lot more smaller, narrow, but it's absolutely fantastic job all these drivers have done tonight. And well, bring on the next one.
Yeah, that's what I say as well. Well, you got next week at Brands here as well. Merry Christmas from JP Broadcasting. See, I think we should do a song, a Christmas song. That would be absolutely epic. Don't forget, guys, after this as well, a little bit later on at 1:45, well, around about 2 a.m, we've got the LSRL GT3 from Round 8 from Donington Park. And then tomorrow, you've got the UK Sim Racers Round 8 live from Sebring. So get involved with them if you are about. But thank you so much to everybody here in chat as well. Craig's for jumping in most of the night as he's been in the pits. Jamie Denkel, Callum Mileham. As well, Barnsey, John Brown, thank you so much all as well. And of course, a massive shout out to Phil from across the pond there for always being here supporting JPB. But for now, guys, from myself and Callum Mileham up here in the booth, you all take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.